I'm Joni and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the month of August and what we can all expect with this up-and-coming total solar eclipse. This solar eclipse has been feared by many astrologers for a long time because what we're looking at is a total solar eclipse that's eclipse path will be centering across the center middle of the United States. So with that, when we talk about an eclipse path simply means where the eclipse is most visible on Earth. And traditionally, as astrologers, we believe that wherever the eclipse is most visible, in other words, the eclipse path, that this is where the most havoc, the most upsets, the biggest events will occur. So we're looking at the United States. And traditionally, if you'll go back in history and look at where the eclipse path occurred, those were the places that the most upheaval occurred. So we're looking at a very turbulent month. But what happens during this eclipse, which is going to be August 21st, and following that eclipse is where I think where everything falls. This is where we're going to have to pick up the pieces. But in September, expect even more and probably more violent events. But it's almost like the eclipse sets the stage and begins the trouble, the violence, the effects that we're here to deal with. So let me give you further details of what we can expect for this month, since it is going to be an extremely eventful month. So another thing that's very significant we're going to talk about today is Mercury will be retrograde. And Mercury is going to be retrograde close to this solar eclipse. And anytime a planet goes retrograde, it brings up things from the past. And that's exactly what eclipses do, because in the darkness of an eclipse, the light is darkened because eclipses cause shadows. And in these shadows, information is always revealed, and I believe this is very valuable information. Now, all eyes are in the political world right now. Why? Because this solar eclipse is occurring in Leo, and Leo is the sign of leaders. This eclipse is happening in the nakshatra called Magha. And Magha is the nakshatra of kings. In ancient times, that's what it referred to, kings. So of course today we're looking at leaders and presidents. But with this eclipse, it occurs within a few degrees of the fixed star Regulus, which is the star that is the heart of the lion in the constellation of Leo. Now, this is very reminiscent of kings and leadership throughout the world. You're going to see major upheavals and many things being revealed. But with Mercury retrograde, along with this eclipse, the things that are going to be revealed are things from the past. And we may be looking, all eyes are on President Trump because of all the upheaval and things going on in the news. Pay attention. The news. The news is telling us things that they want us to know and hear. But in the darkness of the eclipse, there's going to be things that are revealed that are quite different than what we are being led to believe. Because with Mercury retrograde, the things that are coming out from the past, remember Mercury is the planet that deals specifically with communications. It's the messenger god. So information that's coming out will come from the past that will change the perception if you open to the world. And this isn't even just political. This is in your own life. Everything is coming to the surface. And if you're willing to see, you have the opportunity to change your life for the better. Eclipses can bring out valuable information. So out of the dark comes the light. And looking at this particular eclipse, it's all about what? Because it's in Leo, and remember Maga, the nakshatra Maga, the symbol is the throne. And it deals a lot with heritage, patronage, and the star Regulus deals with loyalty. And this is one of the things we all have to start looking at in ourselves, not only projecting what we see in the news and on other people. We have to take a closer look at how we are loyal. And loyal to what? Ourselves. Loyalty gives a sense of pride and admiration. But not being loyal can be disgrace and betrayal. And these are issues that are going to be rampant throughout the world, but particularly individually, look at these within yourself. So looking at this month astrologically with this eclipse and Mercury retrograde, we're looking at August 12th will be the day that Mercury turns retrograde. And remember, Mercury is all about ways that we connect to other people. So it's time to go back and review and analyze how we are connecting. It also, of course, deals with travel. And if you will stay away from travel, I'm not saying it's terrible, but things just seem to go wrong, like computer glitches in the airlines, delays, mechanicals. All of these things seem to start happening around the time of Mercury turning retrograde. So that's going to be August 12th. Now, what I find fascinating throughout this Mercury retrograde period, remember Mercury stays retrograde for approximately 3 weeks. When it turns direct, this is very important, September 5th. September 5th, Mercury will turn direct at 4 degrees of Leo. That is the degree of the solar eclipse. Remember, I am doing sidereal Vedic astrology, not Western astrology. So you will find that the degrees, the signs fall backwards a sign in the system of astrology that I use. So sidereally, this solar eclipse is at 4 degrees of Leo, close to the fixed star Regulus, and this will be where Mercury turns direct. But on September 3rd, this is the day that Mars will transit over the solar eclipse degree, 4 degrees of Leo. So I'm going to say that whatever this eclipse is dredging up from the darkness to the light, there's going to be events around September 3rd and September 5th that the truth is out there. Now, like I said, it's pulling back to the past because Mercury is going backwards. It's bringing up old things, and so is the eclipse. So looking at that, I'm going to say that the things that are going to be dredged up, coming up, are things that have been hidden and secret, and they will have something to do with probably the Obama presidency. So pay attention of that because this is going back, and what will come up is pertinent and relevant information that can make a big difference in how we view the world and how politics and government will go. Now, looking at Donald Trump's chart, of course we know that his chart is heavily hit by this eclipse because Rahu and the eclipse degree, 4 degrees, Rahu will be with the sun and the moon for this total solar eclipse at 4 degrees of Leo, directly on President Trump's natal Mars in his first house. And this natal Mars is potent in his chart. So what you are going to find is some major things are about to change in his life. And will it be easy? Absolutely not, because the other aspect that's going on simultaneously throughout August and September is that transiting Saturn in its Gandanta degrees, which means Gandanta means drowning, out of control. Watch how between the time that Saturn is Gandanta right now, all the way till about October 26th, when Saturn finally leaves Scorpio, that during these months, and even into the month of October, because still when Saturn's in early degrees of Sagittarius, it still doesn't let up. So basically, till the end of this year, you're going to see violent effects, drowning, floods, hurricanes. Major hurricanes, I think, are going to be coming this fall, particularly September, October, with these Gandanta degrees. So storms, floods, volcanic eruptions, earthquakes. Watch how this will become more and more intense. And remember, eclipses will shake the world and bring more earthquakes. But I get there's more to do with violent weather and floods. And watch the hurricane season around the south, in the United States, in Florida, and across the United States. There's major storms, tornadoes. Things will be very, very disruptive. So I get that September is actually going to be more disruptive than August. But this eclipse sets the pace and starts the pattern of events to come. So it will involve world leaders. Why? Because the sun for the month of August is the final dispositing planet. It is in its sign of rulership in Leo, and all the planets point towards the sun. So this is concerning world events and world leaders. Another thing that's happening this month that is pivotal is Saturn. Saturn is about to station. When Saturn stations, it feels like we're in quicksand, that things just can't move. But Saturn is going to be turning direct, but during this month, it's pretty much stationed. So I'm looking at around August 25th, there's going to be some very difficult things evolve that will make us feel like nothing can move forward. So no matter what around the world, people trying to implement change in their lives, it feels like, why am I feeling so stuck? I get this all the time from people lately. And it's because of Saturn being Gandanta, but when it stations, it really causes things to have setbacks, delays, and problems. And that causes a lot of frustration. So you're going to see a lot of frustration. But another thing that's going on this month astrologically is Mars is in a quincunx aspect, which is, if you want to go with the spatial relationships, an 8-6 relationship to Neptune. So this is a very, very difficult degree marking. And throughout this month, what you're going to see is oil prices will probably rise. So if you're looking at the economy, things are about to shift tremendously, especially since Rahu and Ketu and Jupiter are going to shift signs in September. Watch how things really, really change. And the secrets, the government, the corruption, and crime will increase tremendously between August and September. But this Gandanta with Mars to Neptune will cause fuel prices to rise. Another thing that it will cause is deception and lies and cheating. And I have to say the mass media is controlling the masses through their propaganda. Wake up, start asking questions, do your own research. Do not think that what's being told to you is the truth. Research it yourself and you'll find your answers. So talking about the oil prices, I'm looking at, in terms of the economy, yes, there's going to be a major shift. Therefore, I've been telling everyone, because there's going to be so much fear about the economy, and yes, the stock market is going to start to really take a plunge. Because of the fear, the area of where things are going to go is in the area of investing in such things as Bitcoin and Ethereum. These are alternative ways that we are changing hands financially with money. And this leaves out banks. And this puts it more in control with people back and forth. And this is going to be more and more appealing. Yes, so many people say, I don't understand Bitcoin. How is this? How is money exchanged through internet and the chain links and all of that? Let me just say this. We didn't understand credit cards before they came out. And there was such a resistance to how credit cards could work without exchanging paper money. How is this plastic card viable? How does this work? It's going to be the same thing with the way that money is exchanged through these means of through the internet, through computers, through the chain links and all of that. Now here's something interesting. August 1st, Bitcoin is going to have a huge shift. It's going to split. There's going to be an old Bitcoin and a new Bitcoin. Watch how things change here. If it drops, the price of Bitcoin drops considerably, which most people believe it will, it is time to invest. This is an opportunity. Most people are so afraid of this, but I guarantee you in a couple of years, you'll be really glad you did. Maybe not right away, a couple of years, give it a little time. Hey, you're going to be really glad you did. My youngest son bought Bitcoin in high school, and when he graduated from college, he was able to buy a brand new truck. So with the Bitcoin investment. So in a couple of years, it's going to take off. Ethereum seems a little safer to a lot of people, but the Bitcoin dropping in price will be much more of a value and a bargain. Pay attention to that. And if you're looking at stocks to invest in, I say oil stocks, because they're going to have a rise. And when Mars starts aspecting Neptune, you're going to find that OPEC, there's going to be a lot of talk about fuel and prices in oil. It will change. Another one that I think I could recommend, because there is so much going on about electric cars and electricity. Watch the stocks concerning the motor companies, concerning electric cars. That's the new wave. So Tesla could be a good stock in the future. It's very expensive right now, but it's lower right now. I believe it's going to rise. So another thing is, I want to talk a minute. We know that the stock market's about to shift. We know what energies to put our investments in. And we know that there's going to be a big uproar with political leaders around the world. By the way, another thing I noted, that another president that has a connection to this eclipse is Macron, because he has his Saturn 4 degrees of Leo. And if you want to really get into the rhyme and reason why I'm saying President Obama will be in the news very soon, notice his Rahu. It's around 4 degrees of Leo. So what we do is we look at the charts of these world leaders and we see who's going to be affected during this eclipse. And that's what I'm going to leave you with. Something very important will be uncovered and revealed. So about this shadow of the eclipse, how is this going to affect you personally? You see, what is the shadow side? The shadow side is a side of us that we choose not to see because it's not very pretty. We all have it. But what it's really about, watch what you are projecting onto other people, because that will be your shadow side. So the things that we don't like about ourselves, we say, that's not me, that's them. And that's what many people have been doing with President Trump. They project their issues and problems onto him. And if you're saying, oh, my business isn't doing well because of the president, oh my goodness, there you go, there's your shadow. But basically, most of us are projecting things onto other people. Like, I can't get ahead because of my husband. I can't get ahead because of my parents and my upbringing, where I came from. Or I can't get ahead because of the economy, the world. This is the cause. If you're projecting these things outwardly on other people, circumstances, or things, take that power back and go, okay, that is what I'm giving away. I'm giving away my power. Because take that back and see what it is within you that you can change and correct to make it start working. When you do this, you're recognizing the shadow. And when you do this, you will start to change, and things in your life will start to move forward. And you will find that all the things that you felt like you were stuck in, all of a sudden you're not stuck. You're healing your issues. So with this eclipse, pay attention. So when the eclipse happens 2 weeks before, and especially 2 weeks after the eclipse, pay attention to what you can see about yourself. Because this is a huge opportunity for personal growth. And when you understand what you're blaming others for or outside circumstances, then you will realize you'll have the key to what you can change within yourself by working on that within you to change it. And all of a sudden, all the apparent blocks in your life disappear. So that's the energy of an eclipse, bringing out of the dark that which we can heal within ourselves. And eclipses are so powerful in terms of this. Hey, if you go back in history, Einstein worked with the solar eclipses to get the feel of the light to solve his theory of relativity. So this is the power of light and eclipses and darkness and healing. Not necessarily scientifically like that, but this is what they're good for. Use this time period to your advantage, and you will have a transformation and change in your life, just as you can see that is occurring around the world right now. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information and get my newsletter on all that I have been talking about, you can go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Or if you would like transcripts of more information about the economy, you can go to my magazine, which is astrologicmagazine.com. And remember, I'm available for readings. If you would like further information, you can always find that in my website. With that, happy solar eclipse and August. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye.